As a millennial, one of the hardest things when it comes to planning for the future is the fact that I have student loan debt still hanging over my head, as well as some credit card debt from when I was a student and not so smart about my financial decisions. It's very hard to know what I should be focusing my efforts towards, whether it be paying down debt or planning for the future, how I can do both at the same time, as well as pay all the day-to-day expenses. It's hard to know how to balance all that.
I think that too often students don't have a plan for how they're going to pay back student loan debt. But if a student is being thoughtful about how they're going to repay their student loans, they would go into a university setting fully cognizant of the financial burden this might place on them and recognizing that they needed to be very careful about their choice of study. They needed to be very careful and thoughtful about the university they were going to and what the price was. And they needed to really plan how they were going to repay this debt.
When I think about, retirement and getting to those things that I want to do, when I get to retirement, I wish that I knew more of the burdens of what that student loan debt was going to do to me. While I do highly value my education and think it opened a lot of doors and got me a salary that I wouldn't otherwise have had, is there a way that I could have reduced those education costs so that I'm still not 10, 20, 30 years later still paying off those loans? And I never realized when I was, accepting those loans, the impact that that would have directly on my retirement savings. I wish I had known that.
We're seeing a great impact on the millennials as they're coming out of college or coming out of school in general with a great deal of student debt and with an uncertain job future. And what we're seeing is that that's not just putting off retirement planning, it's actually delaying life, where what we're seeing are people putting off what many people used to do in their early 20s to their late 20s or early 30s. And unfortunately, that includes saving for retirement. So they may be starting at a loss before they even begin. The suggestion would be to start even if it's just a little bit. A little bit can go a long way. And since they've got time on their side, compounded interest will be your best friend over the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
Retirement is absolutely uncertain. It's not the guarantee that it once was. For my generation, it's not. I don't have so much confidence in Social Security net underneath me or the government programs. The burden is much more, I think, on the individual.